Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro just pled not guilty in a New York City courtroom days after a U.S. military operation in Venezuela meant he is not the president anymore. He is captured along with his wife, Celia Flores. Here's a look at some of the charges. The former president and his wife pleading not guilty to drug trafficking and other federal charges. If convicted, the two could spend decades in prison. Former Deputy Assistant Attorney General Tom Dupree joins us live. So, Tom, a dictator plucked from another country, captured and then brought to the U.S. to face charges. A lot of questions are swirling over whether Maduro can even get a fair trial in the United States. Tony DeCoppel raised this issue earlier. I thought it was a good question. There's been so much said about him for so many decades.
Yes, and look, my take is that Maduro is going to get a fair trial in the United States. Our legal system, although this is certainly an unusual case, has experience in handling these types of things. There was obviously the prosecution of Noriega from Panama many years ago. And of course, every year we have high-profile trials of people in the United States, people as to whom jurors may already come to the job with preconceived notions about the person. We've tried presidential candidates, former presidential candidates, all of that. I think the United States legal system is well equipped, and that Nicolás Maduro will be given due process and a fair trial in the United States.
So how will the legality of this case play out? And how will this happen if it's determined unlawful with what happened?
My guess is that the legality of Maduro's capture will actually not play a significant role in his prosecution. You'll recall that the same types of arguments were raised in the other example I mentioned of Manuel Noriega of Panama, where part of his legal defense, at least as he tried to present it, was that his capture was unlawful. But the United States courts basically said that's irrelevant. We are just going to focus on the charges that you're confronting and the evidence concerning those charges. We don't care about whether or not your capture was lawful or unlawful. So while I would expect Maduro's defense lawyers to try to make hay out of his capture, my best guess is that the United States judges are going to say this isn't the place for those sorts of arguments.
So let's talk about precedent. You talk about Manuel Noriega. Can that actually be cited in court to bolster the case of prosecution?
It can. Certainly lawyers and judges will often look to analogous cases as precedent that will guide, if not determine, the outcome in their particular case. And there are many similarities between the prosecution of Noriega and the way the Maduro prosecution is shaping up. And so I suspect that the Noriega trial will be like a shadow that hovers over this entire proceeding from beginning to end, with prosecutors, with defense lawyers, with judges continually drawing contrasts and comparisons between what happened in the Noriega case and what's happening in the Maduro case.
Lots of talk between now and that March 17th hearing. Tom Dupree, good to talk to you. Okay, so let's talk to CBS News senior coordinating producer for the Crime of Public Safety Unit, Anna Schecter. Anna, thank you so much for joining us again. Talk to us from what you're seeing from the evidentiary side of what was presented in court today and what you're learning.
Sure. Well, we saw the 25-page indictment made sweeping allegations of a narco-terrorism conspiracy. But when you read the letter of the indictment, there are just a few concrete examples. There's one that was really interesting where Maduro used his private plane, which has diplomatic cover, to fly back, allegedly, cash that was earned from the illegal selling of cocaine in the United States, and that it was flown back on his plane back to Venezuela. There's another mention of a 2007 meeting where his wife received hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash in order to bribe officials and facilitate this massive scheme. So while the indictment was light on specifics, there were a few of them, and we didn't hear about any of that in court today. What the judge did is he read the charges to Maduro and his wife Celia Flores and asked them if they understand the charges. They said they do. They waived the right to read having the whole indictment read to them. But an interesting moment, Reed. At one point, Maduro said, "I'm an innocent man and I'm a decent man." That's very unusual. The judge immediately clapped back and said, that's not what we're here to do today. There'll be a lot of time for that, Reed.
Anna Schecter, there certainly will be, and we know you'll be covering it every step of the way. Thank you so much. Good to talk to you.